Lately, I've been having a big period of art block, and I'd like to share a strategy for drawing that helps me get through these periods. This is a video primarily about lines, but really it's about the absence of line. Some very important, very famous people have written big chunks of big books all about line. Lots of important people have a signature style to do with their favorite kind of line work. But there are three important factors about lines, and it's these three things that I'm going to leverage as my reason for suggesting that you try a drawing that doesn't start with line art. So, as a disclaimer, this is all just my opinion. I base it in what helps me. Perhaps you're a goated line artist and you love line art and it's super natural for you and you never have any problems. If that's the case, I don't know why you're watching art YouTube videos and not doing Sistine Chapel 2 with the default G pen. I am different than you. I am a struggle bug. And this is how I sometimes like to get started so that I don't do this to my computer after trying to draw a line 30 times. Anyway, these are the three confounding qualities of line for me. Quality number 1. Lines aren't real. You've probably heard this said before, but the world we perceive as we perceive it isn't actually made up of outlines. Our objects don't have outlines. The world we see is made up of color and value, which are both qualities of light that gets bounced into our eyes and processed by our brains. So in this way, drawing the line art for me feels like putting the cart sometimes before the horse. Turning a reference image, for example, into a line drawing is less of an exercise in really capturing that image. Like, you're not grabbing it pixel for pixel, you're translating it. You're distilling the borders of the important parts of that image while also capturing the appropriate shape, structure, and of course dealing with actually like physically drawing the line the way you want it to look, which is hard. All of that is just a lot to do, and it's a little abstract and unintuitive for me. Which is not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes we like to do things the easy way. Reason number 2, or trait number 2, is falling into line work limbo, which is a bad habit I have. It's very easy for me to get trapped in line work forever. I kind of jam myself between the translating edges stage and the creating structure stage, and then I just essentially way over-render my line art. I put details in that don't need to be there, like shading, cross-hatching, structure, way early. I overcomplicate it because my perception of the image in my head, in my mind's eye, is so much more far along than my drawing. I rush stages that would be better left to color or value and try to pack all that information, all that visual information, into the lines. And it's too much. And then I exhaust myself, and it looks bad because I've spent all this time overworking and fixing line art, and then I never even get to my favorite part, which is coloring. And then my third confounding quality is entirely personal taste. And I just said it. Line art is not my favorite. This is all just personal preference, but I am not super good at lines, so they're not that fun for me. And yes, you can practice anything and get really good at it. If I lock the fuck in, I could probably get good at lines and making them clean as hell. But sometimes, if something is your hobby and you do it for fun, you have to let yourself do it the way you enjoy it, instead of doing it the way you think you're supposed to, or you're gonna torture yourself. So trying to fit onto that kind of prescribed path through art, or drawing, or really anything else like recreational, creative, I think is like sitting on a giant vacuum tube. You're gonna get stuck, and it sucks ass. So what can you do instead? Well, I've been doing it on screen for the past few minutes. I know for a fact that I am not the first person to draw this way, with like starting with colors or values or shapes before lines, but I wanted to make a video advocating for it as a starting strategy because it always helps me get out of art block. It helps me just make something, put something on the page, and not just draw line art forever and then get tired or get upset with the way it looks and stop. I kind of want to call this way of drawing, like just refer to it as color cloud watching, because you're making shapes and then deriving the outlines from them, like cloud watching. And it's also just kind of a whimsical name for a drawing strategy that I find very freeing. So you can blob in colors, erase, shift the hue, and discover your drawing as you go. And this approach has a couple big benefits to me. Firstly, I don't have to start with lines, and starting with lines exhausts me. I also don't have to figure out what to do with my lines if I later want to render out a drawing, and I don't really want the lines there. It also forces me to focus on color and shape hierarchy, which results in what I find to be more appealing palettes and stronger silhouettes. I just like the shapes more. It results in better compositions for me, so it's a fast track to making the kind of images I like. Why wouldn't I do it? Thirdly, it frees me up to enjoy the whole journey of the drawing. Like I'm carving into the page and finding the art that's already in my head, rather than forcing it onto the page via lines. It just kind of feels like taking steps I don't need to take. And reason number 4 is that it is extremely fast. It's very fast compared to drawing line art and then filling it in and figuring out your values and all that. It's so much faster. And I like drawing pictures. I like having the pictures to look at. So if a way is faster, easier, and it produces an outcome I like more, I'm gonna do it most of the time. You can kind of just throw lines on later where you need to add emphasis by following the border that your silhouette created or carving into it later. Like with this pinkish guy, like I drew the eyes on it. Those are lines, right? That's line art, but it's not line art that creates the whole shape of the character first. With the apple, I didn't really bother to draw lines. It's mostly just blobs of color. And it was fun and easy, and I didn't even know what I was doing, but now it's like a floating apple. It's fun to discover the thing in your head just by like looking at the shape you're making and thinking, oh, it kind of looks like something else. So that's why I like to go without lines. I would love to know what you think. Do you already do this? If not, maybe give it a shot. You could just start with a colored silhouette for a drawing, maybe make a blob and just carve into it and see what you think it looks like, and then try to draw that from that blob. See where your brain takes you. I would really love to see any work that you would like to share. So if you feel inclined, please do leave a comment directing me to a social, like sharing your username, where I can check it out. Please don't leave a link in the comment because I think YouTube just nukes those. Like I can't view any comments that have links in them. And it would be sad if your artwork was smited out of existence. Anyway, thank you for listening to this little ramble about blobs of color and value and how hard lines are for me. I appreciate your time, and I hope to see you again in some future video. Bye-bye.